We remember General Aronda being at the helm of consolidating the new services, especially the Air Force. Again, as we are saying, he's a paragon of many things. General Aronda was an accomplished Pan-Africanist who leveraged and strengthened Uganda's defense diplomacy in the region and aggressively pursued the president's vision of speedy integration of East Africa. And many East Africans really miss his contribution. Honorable General Aronda was also very instrumental in the legislation process. He was one of the many long-serving members of Parliament representing UPDF. We are following in his footsteps, but he not only served as a member of Parliament, he served as a representative of UPDF in the Constituent Assembly. So also our legislative arm know and remember the passion with which he made contribution to ensure people legislated for the country in national interest. And he's on record for having advocated for the continued presence of UPDF, knowing the history of this country, continued presence of UPDF in the Parliament. His argument, which is valid, was that the army staying out of the political arena invited them to mess up the country even more. So keep them near the political process for purposes of harmony and stability. Honorable General Aronda joined cabinet as a Minister of Internal Affairs. Members of the media fraternity, I want to emphasize, and Mama Sembo will put more emphasis, General Aronda got the bull by the horns when he became a Minister of Internal Affairs by ensuring a project that had eluded many leaders and technocrats, the project of national registration, national identification. In a space of a very little time, not only did he make plans for this project to take off, you will be told in a space of 4 months, he registered 16 million citizens. Since he left, those who replaced him are still finding it difficult to suit that shoe. You can be shocked to know that 9 years down the road, since he left, only something like 10 more citizens have been registered. This shows you the person this general was. His spirit, really we think, should be evoked whenever we are getting challenges. So as a minister, he made a footprint in the Ministry of Internal Affairs. And that's why in these arrangements of these events, the Ministry of Internal Affairs is very actively participating and will be highly involved. And that's why you see NIRA, that's why you see migration, they still feel his spirit in the corridors.
I was not privileged to be one of them, but one of the things that they tell us about is he saw no impossibility. He never saw impossibility in any task. If he had been born in another country, he probably would have reached Mars or somewhere else. But with the challenges within his own environment, today when you talk about a simple exercise, you are presented with 10 impossibilities and 1 possibility. He always saw the possibility and transformed the 10 impossibilities into the possibilities. That is one thing that he left in the memory of NERA. NERA as an entity has since grown to register 59.5% of the population of Uganda. Are we there yet? Did we pick up on his speed? No. Do we aspire to? As part of this celebration, we shall recollect and see what to do to pick up from one who gave us the best of his time and the best of his energy. It has been plagued, yes, by a couple of its possibilities. We have seen a lack of funds, a lack of timely beginning of the exercise, so many lacks. But there is no better time than this to celebrate General Aronda, because we are reminded once again that there is nothing impossible, not just with God, but God working through us as human beings. As a Ugandan, you may not be present at Munyonyo, but the one way you can celebrate General Aronda in your individual capacity is by registering and being identified as a Ugandan in the upcoming mass enrollment and renewal exercise.
When he came in and brought automation and other controls, the revenues collected by the Directorate of Immigration, Citizenship and Immigration Control, they increased more than 10 times. Today, the DCIC is the largest collector of non-tax revenue for government as a result of his efforts. The late General Aronda came up with a phrase. It's the first time we had it, a whole of government and a whole of society approach. When he came in, my senior talked about the challenges that were being experienced by the then National Security Information System project. The challenge had been the Ministry of Internal Affairs was trying to implement it as the Ministry of Internal Affairs. The new thing, the innovation General Aronda brought, he said, no, this should be a project for the whole country. He brought in all government agencies, defense, local government, and religious leaders, including people you would not have imagined, the traditional religious leaders, and he made them all contribute to the ability to identify and register citizens. That's why he was successful, that in 4 months he could register so many people. Still in that registration exercise, one remarkable contribution of the late Aronda was what we call naturalization. The people who come in this country and do not get papers, but after a long time they want to be citizens, he initiated the part of the law that enabled them to be naturalized and registered as Ugandans. And I think ever since that time, we have not managed to naturalize as many people as he did.
The challenge that had dogged several elections in Africa, which was identifying uniquely an individual. By the end of the exercise that had begun in a lot of confusion, a lot of doubts, a lot of skepticism, 16.2 million Ugandans had been registered and 15.8 million Ugandans had been issued with IDs. Therefore, NERA as an entity was built on the successes of General Aronda's Resolute. We are therefore, as an entity, deeply indebted to General Aronda.